And welcome to the LV Home Experts radio show or podcast, however you want to call it. If this is your first time tuning in to this channel, my name is Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the only channel every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time where we talk about real estate and financing out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. So today, we got something a little bit different. I'm the only guy on the show today. The reason why is because this is actually a pre-recording. By the time you guys watch this, we will be in El Paso, Texas, doing a collaboration with a custom home builder. You guys seen them before. The name of the company is Icon. They literally build some of these outrageous homes out there. So we're going to probably do about 5 different video tours, 3 different collaborations, and that's something to look forward to. So I'm very excited about that, and I hope you guys are having a blessed day today. Weather out here in Las Vegas is a little bit muggy right now, but I think it's the tsunami season or something like that. So anyway, I want to get into the Las Vegas housing market and what's going on. There's a lot to cover today, so we're going to get right into it. The market right now has kind of slowed down a little bit on the buying side. Now, we initially made that shift where a lot of these sellers, right, was selling a bunch of homes, above the appraisal price, didn't have any problems whatsoever. Within a light switch just like that, it became a buyer's market. And what a buyer market is basically where the buyer has more control of the situation, where they don't have to pay above the appraised value no longer, and they are able to ask for closing costs. And that was going pretty good for buyers, right? Because now the inventory had increased roughly about 7,200 homes. Now, recently, I started taking out buyers again and showing some properties. And there are some unicorn properties out there. And what I mean by unicorn properties are properties that are very unique one way or another. You are still having challenges as a buyer as far as getting your offer accepted, believe it or not, because it's that unicorn property. So I have a property right now that I have a client that's very interested in, but there's multiple offers on this property, and the price point is roughly about $620,000. So, as real estate, everything is all local. So when you say that the market is good or the market is bad, right? You can't lump it all together because it's broken down to state, city, zip code, neighborhoods. It's really, really broken down. But today, I want to cover what's going on exactly with the Las Vegas housing market. What is the median price point? So we're going to talk about single family homes, which is detached, condos, townhomes, duplexes, triplexes, and even mobile homes too as well. We're going to pull some numbers. We're going to do this together, and we're going to see what's going on. So I want to start off with the Las Vegas housing market as far as market analytics, right? So last week, when we pulled some numbers for single-family residents, right, there were only 7,039 properties that were listed, and this is just detached only. The median list price was at $470,000. The average sales that was going on last week was 465. Okay? Remember, from a all-time high of the median price point of 485, right? That is a $20,000 decrease, which is about 4% of the market. Now, I think the market has the potential to go down, and this is my thoughts, 30, even 40%, okay? The next housing crisis will not be because of the housing market. Realistically, what this has to do is with the financial market globally, okay? I don't want to get too deep into it, but that's just my thoughts and my opinions, which is I think I need to create a video and give you my perspective of why I'm thinking this way. But I want to get into what's going on with single family. So I'm going to pull up some of these numbers here. I'm going to jump on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service. We're going to take a look at some data, okay? So just give me just a second here while I pull this up, because we're going to look at this together, live feed. So here is the MLS. What is the MLS, which is the multiple listing service? So once you are a licensed real estate agent, if you want to have access to the MLS, then now you become a member of the National Association Realtors, right? So you're just a member and you have access to this. So we're going to take a look at the data together, the data, what's trending, okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to search residential homes. Now I want to see exactly what has closed in the last 7 days, okay, compared to last week. So let's go here. We're going to hit stats. Now, last week, the average list price or the median list price was, $475,000. Here, we are now at $465,000. Now, things are still holding off at $465,000, which is, I think, is really good, actually, for the marketplace. Now, we are at 11 days on the market. The median price point, right, per square foot is $256 a square foot. However, I want you to take a look at this. The inventory has increased, okay? Buyers are having more options to go shop around, take advantage of the marketplace, okay, which will hurt sellers in the long run. I have listings right now, and I have other agents that have listings, and you'll notice that the average days on these new listings that are coming up is going to be more than 30 days, believe it or not. Okay? In addition to that, you also have to take this into consideration. We have 3 more rate hikes, right? One in September, right? And also in November, and also in December. Okay? Now, if rates go up, this will definitely hurt the marketplace. I don't know if it's going to go up 75 basis points or 1 point, but we're sitting here right now at, 1.25%. However, if it goes up another 75 basis points, the par rate is at 2%. So what that means is for the central banks to really make money, they have to increase rates. As they increase rates, what happens is this. It costs us more money for you to borrow. Money's not as easy. It hurts your purchasing power, right? So that's something that you also have to keep in mind. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into that because today is mostly about what's going on, what's the stats here in Las Vegas. Sometimes I can get very off, so I do apologize. Okay. So we know today's market, the median price point that's closing for an 1,800 square feet across the valley, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 2-car garage, is $465,000, which is, it's holding off, not bad. However, inventory has gone up from roughly about 7,000 homes to 7,500 homes. Wow, that's almost 10%. I'm going to say that's probably maybe 8%. Yeah, 8%. If my math is wrong, let me know in the comments below. I would appreciate that. So now let's take a look at this. If you are planning on getting into the marketplace, as a barometer, you should be paying about $256 a square foot. the median, right? Entry level, $465 to play ball. Okay. So let's take a look at this. What can we actually get at this price point? Okay. Let's start searching for some homes here. I'm going to move this right there. So this is LV Home Experts. Okay. .com. So check out this website. It's a great website. We're going to start here. So we're going to be looking at homes through Clark County. 3 bedrooms, because that's what we know we can get. We're going to do 2.5 and up. Minimum price, right? We talked about $465. We're going to go from $450 to $500. There's only a total of 770 homes. So let's take a look at this. Let's see what we can get here. Now, as you can see, this kind of gives you an idea of what monthly payments are going to be, right? $2,300, but also you have to take this into consideration of how much you are putting down to as well. But we can also run the numbers and we kind of see what's going on. But I just want to see what we can get for about $500,000 and less. Now, this one has a price reduction. Wow, golf course view for $500. This must be an age restricted. Let's take a look at this. Let's get rid of that here. Not bad. Oh, okay, so this is a single story in Tuscany. Now, Tuscany has a nice clubhouse as well. Not bad for $500,000. Little bit outdated. The good news is that it's not that much to do some paint. Flooring could cost you some money. Now, this one is a 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 1,763 square feet. It was actually built in 2005. It's an adorable 1-story home with everything that you need. Perfect floor plan with a room for a guest. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are about this one. Let's move on to another property here. Let's see what else we have. So this one looks like a 2-story home. Was built in 2000. It is 2,012 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. Right? Lot size is not bad. 3,900 square feet. Looks like the exterior has been painted. Beautiful curb appeal. Well maintained. 12 by 12 on the tile here. Freshly painted. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Home in Silverado Ranch. Ceiling fans throughout. This lights an airy flow floor plan. Upgraded quartz countertops in the kitchen and the bathroom. So this is just kind of give you a general idea. However, I want to back up for just a little second here. Let's go one more back. Here, where am I here? I want to go back to my search. We'll go one more back. See what else we have here. So it looks like the buyers definitely have some options. All right. Remember, average days on the market right now is about, 12 days, 11 days, which is not bad. Oh, we got a 3-story home here. Let's see what else we have. We got new construction. Now, also another thing with new construction you're going to notice is that a lot of these new home builders now are really advertising to real estate agents, and they are giving a higher compensation to the buyer's agent to bring a buyer. I'm seeing price reduction after price reduction, incentives. Now, lenders are also involved with the builder, and what they are doing is basically letting you do a buy down. Now, what a buy down is basically you have to look at the lending estimate, because sometimes you think the builder is hooking you up, but you're not getting hooked up. You're getting squeezed on the back end. And this also happens with resales too as well. So it's how the contract is negotiated. You really have to understand the game to play the game. That's just the bottom line, okay? So what I'm seeing is that these builders that have lenders, their preferred lenders, you go through them. The builders may give you incentives of $10,000 to allow you to do a buyback. However, there was really no $10,000 because they have so much of a spread that you're really not getting a deal. And sometimes you could be paying it on the back end, right? Where you get the $10,000 from the builder, but there are other hidden fees as far as transfer tax, owner title policy, lender title policy. Now you're paying for all that, right? So it's kind of like a wash. But you won't know this because you're not buying homes on a consistent basis, and you're not going to know what our customary practice is because Las Vegas housing market shifts on a dime. So that's something that you just need to really understand, okay? And you got to work with an agent that really knows what's going on. Now, I'm not saying that because I want you to work with me. I mean, I hope you guys do, right? That you trust us, you trust the process, and you want to work with us. But at the end of the day, just make sure you do your due diligence period. That's so important. And just work with somebody that can literally help you out through the process. Not necessarily tell you what to do, but give you options, right? Things that you should look out for as you go through the process. Okay. Oh, here's another one that's just listed. This looks pretty nice, but you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to go to the lowest one, and we're going to start with the lowest price point here. Look at this. Reduce. So if you notice, reduce price. This one has a view, reduce. Let's see if we can find a nice one. I love how the pictures are taken on this one. This one's kind of cool. Now, let's see if we can actually get one with a pool. Now, we're going to add 3 bedrooms here. Let's see here. Options. Just listed. Let's see. We got just listed pools. All right, let's add that pool in there. See what happens. Now, all these actually have a pool. You have one here in Henderson. Here's another one with a pool. Well, we actually looked at that one. Let's see here. Let's get a good one. Let's click this 3-story. Now, this 3-story that you see here was actually built in 2007. It's a gorgeous upgrade 3-story home on a cul-de-sac. Property is a second home and shows as a model. Well, so I guess these people don't live here then, right? 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath, and a half. I guess that one's downstairs for your guests. Open kitchen and living area where the family can all gather together. 10 minutes from downtown Summerlin. Let's take a look at this. Not bad, this 3-story home. You got, what is that, travertine tile? Oh, man, the only thing about travertine tile is it's very hard to clean. It's very porous in the rocks. I mean, it's basically slate. It's like chipped rock. Not bad. Nice balcony. Some carpet. Price not bad for $500,000 here. What else do we have here? So it was listed at $510,000. They dropped it down here. Probably about what? 30-something days, 2% from $510,000 down to $499,888. All appliances are included in the sale of this transaction. The amenities, basketball court, playground. Okay. Not bad. Now, let's say if... Oh, I was going to say, if you guys want to ask a question, we can ask a question. But let's move on, okay? Let me get out of this for a second here. And we're going to go back to the MLS. And we're going to focus on now condos. See what's going on with the condo market. Matter of fact, let's move on to townhomes first. So, Townhomes, we have a total of 731 townhomes. Okay. So last week, we had a total of 633. I'm sorry. That is the dyslexic in me. I apologize. Now, the median condo right now was selling at $330,000 at $245 a square foot with an average days on the market 11 days. Now, let's take a look at what's going on today. I mean, we're up now 100 more properties. Let's run the analytics. Let's see exactly what's going on. So if we take a look at the solds here, now it's selling at $323,000. Literally within 7 days, it dropped $7,000, $1,000 a day. Amazing. We went from $245 down to $232 a square foot. 10 days on the market. So what this is telling you is this. Buyers are pulling back from the townhomes. And the reason why is because now they are probably making adjustments to detached single-family residence, because we know detached single-family residence is at $465,000. So probably what was happening is this. When home pricing was at the $485,000, buyers did not really have that much option being approved at the $450,000, $465,000, $475,000, $485,000, because they were getting beat out of the market. They couldn't negotiate, closing costs, right? But based upon what's going on in today's market, things are slowing down. This tells me that the buyer pool from the townhomes are now making that shift into detached single-family residence because now they have options. That's right. So now you have a certain percentage of buyers that can get back into the marketplace that can now purchase single-family detached homes, has moved on into that sector, which is now hurting this sector of the market. Now I'm going to go back to condos now. Let's see what's going on with some condos. And this is going to be exciting for me because I have a condo. All right, we're going to do condos. So condos across the valley. Condos across the valley. Last week, we had a total of 978 active listings. What was selling last week, the median price point for 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,008 square feet. The list price was at $235,000, is now selling at $230,000 at $237 a square foot with the average days on the market 9 days. Let's see what's going on today. Okay. Let's take a look at the analytics here. So last 7 days, we only sold 94. We have a total of 1,012 active properties. That's not that much more, actually. It looks like it because it's 4 digits, right? But take a look at this. Things are only selling for $230,000 across the board. I have a condo right now that I thought I got a great deal, but I'm probably going to end up breaking even on it. But initially I bought it for rent, but I'm also thinking about selling it. And this is probably maybe a good time for some of you investors out there that have a real estate portfolio that, if you don't have that much cash in the bank, you may want to stack up on some cash. I'm not a financial advisor. However, I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You don't have to believe me. I could be making this stuff up. I tell you guys this all the time. Now, if we take a look, average days on the market is 11 days, $243 a square foot, which is up by a few bucks. Condos at $230,000. I never imagined paying $230,000 for a condo. A little bit ridiculous. Now I want to move on to Multifamily. I think this is important because I've been looking at multifamily too as well. And I've noticed with multifamily, I've seen a fluctuation of price reduction after price reduction after price reduction, believe it or not. And when the market tanks, I've noticed the first to really go is commercial, multifamily, high rises, condos, townhomes, then detached single family residence. So that's just from my experience, okay? So let's take a look at this. Multifamily. Let me move along here. And I know I sound a little bit congested right now. My nose is drying up. So I do apologize for that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go everything that is currently active, everything has sold within the last 7 days in Las Vegas. So when it comes to multifamily, we have a total of 454 homes or units or buildings, whatever you want to call it, available for sale. But I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this because I like to look at fourplexes because I always, focus on the fourplex here. All right, we're going to go back here. We're going to go sold for the last 7 days. Okay, now, I do want to apologize. The information that I pulled up was actually for high rises, but we'll get into that in just a second. So we have a total of 116 across the valley. But we're going to focus on fourplexes right now. So we have 67 fourplexes across the board. Okay. Pricing on here, all the way up to 5.2 million, which is outrageous to me. I don't know who in their right mind would pay that kind of money. So we have a total of 61 active listings for fourplexes. And if you take a look, we only sold 6 in the last 7 days. The median is 798, right? Which is, this number is actually kind of skewed because when it comes to fourplexes, especially investment properties, it comes down to the ROI, what the return is. Because if you have a home that's at $500,000, you're financing, you're not making any cash flow like whatsoever, especially with all the fees. And I've noticed these multifamily duplexes, triplexes, and all that stuff, they are located in like C and D class type of units, right? So it's just something to think about. But I want to go back here for just a second here because let's take a look at the map view. I just only want to focus on Las Vegas here for a second here in Henderson and Boulder. So we have 57. All right. Here we go. So the median is $585,000 at $236 a square foot. Average days on the market is 23 days, which is still pretty good. And that's still a healthy market, believe it or not. Okay. However, the math is not making sense. Like, I don't know why in your right mind you would pay $585,000 for a multifamily. That's just like unreal. All right, so now let's move on to triplexes. What a triplex is a 3-unit instead of a 4-unit. Let's see what's going on here. So we have a total of 10 that's currently available right now across the valley. Now, these are for sale. Let's see here. Oh, nothing actually sold. Let's go back for the last 30 days. Let's see what has sold. Wow, nothing. Nothing is moving. Look at this right here. You can literally see days on the market. This one is 3 days. Wow, look at the condition of this. 3 days on the market. 4, 67, 71, 74, 130 days, 140 days, 301 days. So nothing is really moving here whatsoever. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip that. Now we're going to move over to duplexes. See what we got in a duplex. We have a total of 37 duplexes. Let's look at some of this data here. See what's going on. Excuse me. So we currently have 32 that's active. 5 sold within the last 30 days here, it looks like. The median list is 340,000, which is not bad, actually, because now it's starting to come down. Average days in the market is 17 days at $234 a square foot. So on this duplex here, it looks like you are only getting 1,400 square feet, which is not bad whatsoever, right? So it's about 700 square feet. Typically, these are only like 1 bedrooms. Some of them can only be a studio too as well. Now, I want to move on to high rises. Let's see what's going on with the high rise sector. And we're going to take a look at the last 7 days, see what has sold, because I think this is also important. 450 units. Let's get this clicked out real quick. Okay, so current active listing for high rises. When I say high rises, I mean 5 units and higher, or 5 floors and higher. So we currently have 433 currently active listings. Looks like they're selling for $470,000 at $427 a square foot. Average days on the market is 21 days. Get roughly about 1,155 square feet. 1 bedroom though, right? 2 bathrooms. 21 days on the market. This number is actually climbing, believe it or not. Deals are definitely out there. However, when you go and sell it, it's going to be very tough, especially in a market like this. So if you are in the market to get into a high rise that is like down the strip, you are going to have some negotiating leverage. Yes. However, on the flip side, when you decide to sell it, you're also going to run into problems too as well. Okay. Now, I want to take a look at the rental market because we know that the median price point for a detached single-family residence for $465,000, roughly about 1,800 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 2-car garage, right? Let's see exactly what you get. But before we do that, let's have some fun and let's calculate this because I want to see at $465,000, what is your monthly mortgage payment? So that way we can actually compare to see what's going on. So I'm going to do $465,000 with conservatively 10% down. Let's just say 10% down, okay? And rates, I'm going to put on here 5.1% across the board. Principal, taxes, and insurance, PITI, is a $2,757. So we're going to pretend that we are going to purchase a home at, well, actually, we're going to lease a home at $2,700. And let's see exactly what we can get. And also, let's take a look at if we decided to look at the same house, what's cheaper? Is it your mortgage or is it your rent, right? Let's identify that together. I think that's also important. So let's just say $2,700, right? What can I get for $2,700 a month if I decided to spend that? Okay, so I'm going to do $2,500 between 27. Let's see what's out in the marketplace. Oh, give me just a second. I gotta go to rentals. Here we go. Residential rentals. We're going to do everything that's active. We're going to go single family residence. We're going to do $2,500 a month between $2,700 a month. Let's see what I can get. So there's like 100 and something homes out there, right? Or actually, yeah, 200 homes. So let's take a look at this together. So we're just going to go to the photos. Wow. So this one is not bad. Not bad at all. That's not a good one. I'm going to keep going until I find a really good one. I want to find a nice one. Oh, no. Let's see what else I can rent for $2,700 a month. Okay, so here's one for $2,700 a month. You know what? Let's get another one. Like, I want a nice one. You know what I mean? A real nice one. So that way we can compare here. Yeah. What just happened? Okay, here. Nope. Okay, nope. Come on, let me get a nice one. Here we go. This is a nice one. Not bad. Let's look at these pictures together. You can get a 3-car garage. Okay. For $2,700. So you already know what you can rent. Or actually, you know what you can buy, right? Because we looked at the homes earlier. Or you can rent the home for the same price. And this clearly shows you, like literally, you get more home if you actually rent it for the same price. That's crazy. Okay? So this tells you now, if you're comparing apples to apples, right, as far as you're willing to spend $27,000 for a mortgage or for rent, looks like there's some options here to rent. And if you're in a position where you can kind of sit and wait and see what's going on with the marketplace, you may want to consider this. Okay? Now we're going to do one step back here. So now, instead of the price, now we're going to do roughly about 1,800 square feet. I'm going to make it 1,750 to about 1,900 square feet. Minimum of 3 bedrooms, okay, for rent. And let's see what's out there. And let's see what the pricing is. Because we know $2,700 is the cap, right? So we're going to start off with the lower price. I'm going to skew this a little bit. Let's go to here. Let's find a nice one. Let's see how much this really is, okay? All right, let's see here if we can find a nice home for the same payment. All right, nothing is showing up. Oh, what's going on here? Okay. All right, this one's not that bad, but I want to try to see if I can find a better one. Just something a little bit more clean. Oh, this one has a pool. We're going to skip that one. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to go back to here, and I'm just going to do the highest price point. Okay. But we're going to go, these are all 1,800 square feet. So we're going to go back one more because the payment was what, 2,700 square feet. Okay. So let's just say if we went here, let's see what we got here. 28. Okay, so this one is not that bad. However, there's not enough pictures to see what's going on. Okay, so here's a good one. Looks like they had painted the outside, redid the floorings, painted the cabinets, nice countertops. Okay. So let's take a look at this. This right here is renting out for $2,300 a month, which is not bad. You rented this for $2,300 a month, you're saving $400. Now, I don't know at this point, is it better based upon the price or the square footage? It's probably better based upon the price. So what I mean by this is that if you're going to spend $2,700 a month, you can go ahead and spend $2,700 for rent, where you can literally sit and wait and kind of see what's going on with the marketplace. I do apologize for that. And if you wanted to save some money and you're willing to cut back a little bit, where you can literally buy a home and have a payment that's less than $2,300 for roughly about 1,800 square foot, which is the same size of square footage if you decided that you were going to purchase the same home and pay 2,700 square feet. Like the cheapest one here, and I'm going to go back here just a second here just to show you what's going on. So let me go back. 1,600. Let's just say if you wanted to buy a home, right? Or if you wanted to rent a home for 1,700. I mean, this is not bad for the same amount of square footage that you would have got if you bought a home. So I guess my question to you, based upon this, I don't know why I keep doing that. Based upon this information, is it better to rent or to buy? And it just comes down to you as a person to see, you know, whatever your financial situation is, what the game plan is, right? But overall, I feel that the market is starting to calm down a little bit. Everything is starting to come to reality, right? It slid down a little bit, about that 4%. It's kind of holding off. But we're going to have to wait and see here for the next, tomorrow actually, the Feds, right? By the time this thing airs, we're going to find out if the Feds raise rates, because that's also psychologically going to impact the housing market. And I've had debates like this all the time. How does it impact the housing market? And I understand that, you know, the 10-year Treasury bond and the 30 will affect the housing market, but not the 3-year. I understand that. However, psychologically, yes, it does as far as this. As a consumer, if money is not cheap to borrow, you have inflation, you start to retract. People always need a place to live, and that's correct. However, people can also rent. They don't have to buy. Now, when people rent, it's not like their rent automatically goes up next month. They typically sign a year contract. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. I'm just rambling on a little bit longer than I should. And like I said, because you guys have been patient, I'm going to show you the exciting news. And let me know what your thoughts are. What do you guys think about the new hairdo? Let me know in the comments below.